Today's first reading we heard from the book of Isaiah. It started with courage. Do not be afraid. In the Bible, we see almost 365 times these words, do not be afraid. Before Jesus came, almost more than 500 years ago, Prophet Isaiah prophesied about Jesus. What this person is going to do. How can you recognize truly this person? And how can you truly proclaim this is Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God? And the second reading, it's beautiful. St. James says, God chose the poor according to the world to be rich in faith. In other words, we should not despise the poor. We need to be attentive. We need to treat every person equally, because every person is the presence of Christ. Every person represents Christ, because God created all of us in His own image and likeness. So therefore, we should not have any distinctions when we meet every person in our life. It is the Lord. And today's gospel is very, very interesting and very beautiful. And if you carefully look, every time, in fact, when we read the gospel, not just simply read, but we need to be truly attentive to everything. We should be able to smell it. We should be able to hear it. We should be able to feel it. And that's the way we have to read the gospel. And today's gospel, the first part, Mark 7:31, a geographical description is there. It's important. It can also connect it with our life. We are all coming from different parts of the world. And every day we are connected with geography as long as we are living in this world. And Jesus clearly said that. And the second part, 7:32, says, also describes that person's condition. They took him a person. They brought a person to Jesus. He was deaf. He had an impediment in speech. And also, Mark 7:33 and 34, how Jesus healed that person. The description is there. Jesus was not just healed like that. Okay, you are healed. You're gone. It's just like a magic. But Jesus took an effort, and how He did it. It is important in our life. More than we do things, how we do. Modus operandi, the way we do it, the way we speak, the way we live our faith, it's very important. And the next part, 7:36, the recommendation of silence is not obeyed. Jesus told them, don't tell anyone, because all these words has got meaning and importance. And the last part, Mark 7:37, the praise of the people. People started praising. Today's gospel, in one word, the theme, the word Jesus used, Ephatha, a Greek translation of the Aramaic word, meaning be opened. Pope Benedict said, if you sum up the mission of Jesus, the entire mission of Jesus, we can sum up in this one word, Ephatha. Be opened. Because we are all deaf. This gospel today is very interesting. Deaf man who had an impediment in speech, they took him and they requested to Jesus. And what Jesus did, he took him aside in private from the crowd. We don't know why he did that. Maybe he didn't want to do that in front of the people. They were among people who were really doubting. Because Jesus himself said, if you doubt, I won't be able to do anything. So then, how Jesus healed? Touched his tongue with spittle. It's an action. It's an effort. It's not a small thing. This touch is important. And every time we are experiencing this touch, every time when we come for the Mass, Jesus is coming and touching our tongue, our hands, our entire body, our entire self, because he wants to heal us. He wants to heal us. But most of the time we are not aware of it. Just like 2000 years ago, these people met Jesus in that particular place. But today we are meeting Jesus here. We all came from different parts of the world to meet Jesus, to experience his touch. As Pope Benedict said, the whole mission of the church, mission of Jesus can sum up in this one word, Ephatha. Be opened. And Jesus wants to open. And this deaf, the dumb person, or all the impediments in our life, it's not just physical, but it's also spiritual. But most of the time what happens in our life, we are not ready to accept the fact. It's almost like a blind man. Someone says, hey, you are blind. If your eyes, if someone can open, you can see so many wonderful things, but this blind man says, oh, no, I don't believe. There is nothing called light. Will that person ever see? No. The same way in our life, the very first step to experience this healing, we need to admit, oh Lord, I am not hearing properly. Are we hearing properly? Most of the time we are not hearing properly. There is a difference between hearing, listening, active listening, and active, attentive listening. And most of the time we hear something and we don't understand. And sometimes we listen. We don't listen, active listening. You are listening actively now. And active, attentive listening, showing that interest. Yeah, that's very interesting. It's just showing that great enthusiasm. But remember, today's gospel also speaks to us a great mystery. If we want to speak clearly, first we need to hear. And most of the time, that's why maybe the gospel, the word of God says, be quick to listen and slow to speak. And what is, most of the time what happens in our life, we are quick to speak. We are speakers. Our default mode is we want to speak, not to listen. Perhaps during this Mass we can pray for that grace to listen clearly what the Lord wants me to speak. For that, we have to be like that person truly humble in front of God today as we are approaching the Eucharist, approaching the living presence of God. We have to pray humbly, O Lord, open my ear and touch me so that I may speak clearly, I may understand things clearly, and that's the way I may proclaim your good news with my life. Ephphatha, be open.